My mother declared I must spend every holiday with her, insisting, "I'm your mother. You have no choice." When I chose to spend one holiday with my partner's family, she cried to relatives that I was abandoning her and said, "You're breaking my heart." I quietly replied, "Emotional blackmail isn't love, and I won't be manipulated into compliance." Growing up in a small town in Ohio, it was just my mom, Margaret, and me after my dad passed away when I was 10. She dedicated herself to raising me, but as I got older, I noticed her love came with conditions. Every holiday had to be spent with her. She'd say, "I'm your mother, you have no choice." At first, I didn't mind. But as I started forming relationships, her expectations felt suffocating. I met Daniel in college in Chicago. He was kind and came from a big family in Minnesota. When he invited me to Thanksgiving with his family, I was excited. But when I told my mom, she was furious. "How could you abandon me on Thanksgiving?" She cried, "You're breaking my heart." I tried to explain, but she wouldn't listen. The guilt was overwhelming. In the end, I spent Thanksgiving with her, and Daniel went home alone. This pattern continued. Christmas, New Year's, Easter. Every holiday was non-negotiable. She'd remind me, "After all I've done for you, this is the least you can do." Things escalated when Daniel proposed. His family invited us for Christmas, and I was determined to go. I told my mom. "So, you're choosing them over me?" she whispered. "Mom, it's not about choosing. I love you, but I also love Daniel. I want to be part of his family too." Tears streamed down her face. "I knew this would happen. I knew you'd leave me." "Mom, emotional blackmail isn't love. I won't be manipulated into compliance." She didn't speak to me for days. When she finally did, it was a curt phone call. "Do whatever you want. Clearly, I don't matter." The guilt gnawed at me, but I knew I had to set boundaries. Daniel and I spent that Christmas in Minnesota. It was warm, chaotic, and filled with laughter, a stark contrast to the tense holidays I'd known. When we returned, I reached out to my mom, hoping to mend things. She was distant but agreed to meet. Over coffee, I reiterated my love for her but emphasized the importance of my relationship with Daniel. "I understand you're hurt," I said, "but I need you to respect my choices." She sighed, looking down at her cup. "I just don't want to be alone. You won't be. But we need to find a balance." It wasn't easy, and our relationship had its ups and downs. But over time, she began to understand that love isn't about control. It's about mutual respect and understanding. And as I walked down the aisle with Daniel waiting at the end, I saw her in the front row, smiling, a testament to the progress we'd made. After that Christmas, things seemed calm. Mom didn't say much, but she wasn't throwing guilt my way either. I thought maybe we were turning a corner. I was wrong. 2 months before our wedding, she called me late at night. Her voice was shaky, like she had been crying. "Your cousin told me she saw you dress shopping with Daniel's mom. You didn't invite me." I paused. "Mom, we've talked about this. You said you didn't want to come because it would be too emotional for you." Her voice rose. "That was before I knew you'd let her take my place." I explained again, slowly, carefully. I told her it wasn't about replacing anyone. It was about sharing moments with people who supported me. She hung up on me. The next day, my aunt messaged me, confused. "Why is your mom telling everyone she's not invited to the wedding?" I stared at the message for a long time. She had started calling family behind my back, spinning her own story, saying I was pushing her out of my life, that I had changed since meeting Daniel, that I'd forgotten where I came from. I was furious. I called her, trying to get her to stop spreading lies. She didn't apologize. She didn't even act surprised. I had to explain why my own daughter cut me off, she said coldly. "They deserve to know the truth." "That's not the truth, Mom. It's my truth." That phrase stuck with me. My truth. Like facts didn't matter. Like she had rewritten the story to make herself the victim. More family members reached out, some supportive, others not so much. I got passive-aggressive texts from cousins I barely talked to, saying things like, "Hope your fancy in-laws are worth it," or "Just remember who raised you." Daniel saw the stress eating me alive. One night, he quietly offered, "Do you want to postpone the wedding?" I shook my head. No. She doesn't get to control this too. A week later, an RSVP came in the mail from her. It was empty. No note. No name checked. Just a blank card in the envelope. I didn't call. I didn't message. I said nothing. Then she showed up at my work. I was at the library, shelving books, when I looked up and there she was, standing near the checkout desk, arms crossed, eyes red. "You won't even talk to me now?" I stepped away from the shelves and walked over. My coworkers watched but pretended not to. I kept my voice low. "Coming to my job? Really? You've given me no choice," she snapped. "You always say that. There's always some reason why everything is my fault." "Because it is. You're tearing this family apart." "No, Mom. You are." She flinched like I slapped her. Then she turned and walked out. The next day, my credit card was declined at the bakery where we were placing the wedding cake order. I didn't understand why. I checked my account and saw a massive charge from a florist I hadn't used. It didn't take long to figure it out. My mom had access to a backup card on my account, one I'd forgotten even existed. She'd used it. I called her, shaking. "You stole from me?" "Don't be dramatic," she said calmly. "You always said you didn't care about flowers. I got the ones I know you'd actually want. You used my money. You're being ridiculous. I did it for your own good." I hung up and canceled the card. I called the florist and explained what happened. They were sympathetic, but it was too late to cancel the order. I cried in my car for an hour that day. Not because of the money. Because this was the line. The one she finally crossed. And somehow, she still thought she was right. I didn't block her. I didn't scream. I just stopped. No more calls. No more updates. She emailed me 3 times over the next 2 weeks. The first was angry. The second was weepy. The third was guilt-tripping, asking if I really wanted to spend the biggest day of my life without my mother. I didn't answer. She stopped trying after that. For a while. 3 weeks before the wedding, I got a letter in the mail. A real letter. Not an email. Not a text. Just my name, handwritten on the envelope. Inside was a formal-looking document. My heart dropped when I read the header. Notice of small claims lawsuit. She was suing me. It wasn't even about the credit card. She was suing me for emotional damages, claiming I caused her distress by excluding her from my wedding, undermining her reputation in the family, and damaging her mental health. She put an actual dollar amount to it, $7,500. I read it 3 times, hands trembling. Then I sat on the floor, staring at the wall. Daniel came home an hour later and found me there, still holding the paper. He didn't even ask what happened. He just picked up the letter, read it, and sat beside me. I didn't cry. I didn't yell. Something in me just went quiet. I wasn't even surprised anymore. Daniel said, "We're going to fight this. She doesn't get to do this." But she already had. She crossed another line. I got a lawyer. Not because I thought she would win, but because I knew she would drag this out. And she did. The court date was set for 2 days before our wedding. That's when Daniel's mom, Susan, stepped in. She was quiet, never involved herself in the drama before. But she came over that night, sat me down, and said, "You have to tell the full truth. Don't just defend yourself. Show them what she's been doing to you your entire life." So I did. I put everything on record. Every voicemail, every text, every ignored boundary. I showed how this lawsuit was another tool of control. The lawyer called it what it was: malicious litigation. The case was dismissed before it even went to trial. But it was in the court system now. On record. People started asking questions, family, friends, even people from our town. And that's when something shifted. One of my mom's oldest friends called me. I braced myself for more judgment. Instead, she said, "I'm sorry." For what? For not speaking up sooner. I've known for a long time your mom can be manipulative. But we all let it slide. We thought we were helping by staying out of it. She told me stories, small things, things that added up. How my mom would ice out neighbors who didn't take her side. How she once showed up at her pastor's house, uninvited, crying about how I'd left her after college. None of it shocked me, but hearing someone else confirm it made it feel real. 2 days before the wedding, I woke up to find my dad's watch on the front step. It was wrapped in a soft cloth with a note. He would have wanted you to wear it. Mom, that watch hadn't left her jewelry box since the funeral. I hadn't asked for it. I wasn't even sure if it was real or some sort of trick. But something in that note rattled me. The next morning, Daniel answered the door while I was getting ready. It was a flower delivery. A massive arrangement. Bigger than anything I'd ever seen. The card said, "Forgive me. Or don't. But know that I tried." I didn't respond. I just stared at the flowers until the petals blurred in my vision. The wedding went ahead, 2 days later. My mom didn't show up. But that's not where the story ends. 1 week after the wedding, a cousin reached out and said, "Your mom's been talking again. But it's different now. People are starting to see through it." Apparently, after the lawsuit, people started pulling away from her. Some told her outright she went too far. Others just stopped replying. Her world was getting smaller. Quieter. Just like the silence she tried to punish me with for years. Then something strange happened. A woman emailed me from a church I didn't recognize. She said she was part of a grief support group my mom had recently joined. "She talks about you often," the email said. "There's a lot of pain there. I think she's beginning to see things clearer." I didn't reply. I wasn't ready. A month passed. Then 2. Then I got another letter in the mail. No lawsuit. Just her handwriting again. Inside, it was only a few lines. "I never learned how to love without control. I am learning now. If you ever want to talk, I'll listen. Not speak. Just listen." There was no apology. No promises. No begging. Just a strange kind of honesty I'd never seen from her before. And that's where we are now. I kept that last letter in my drawer for weeks. Read it once. Then again. I didn't cry. I didn't feel sorry for her. I didn't even feel angry. I felt tired. Just tired. Daniel asked me what I wanted to do. I told him I didn't know. Part of me wanted to throw it out. Another part of me wanted to believe she meant it. But I'd done that too many times. And every time, it cost me. Then one day, I was scrolling through Facebook and saw a post from one of my aunts. It was a picture of my mom, standing in a kitchen that wasn't hers, surrounded by people. The caption said something like, "Glad to see Margaret finally spending time with good company." It was a gathering she hadn't been invited to in years. It hit me that she was trying to make a comeback, not just with me, but with the whole family. Rebuilding what she'd lost. Rebranding herself, even. Then came the real blow. Another cousin, someone I barely talked to, DM'd me and said, "Hey, just FYI, your mom's been telling people that you sued her. Said you were trying to silence her and make her sign over the house or something." I didn't believe it, but just letting you know. That was it. That was the switch. I wasn't going to let her spin it again. I had stayed quiet for years. I had eaten guilt, buried my anger, played the good daughter for way too long. So I posted everything. Screenshots. Voicemails. The lawsuit papers. The receipt from the florist. The RSVP envelope with nothing in it. Every single thing. No names were blurred. No words were softened. I titled it, "This is what emotional abuse looks like when it wears your last name." And I posted it to my personal account. It exploded. People I hadn't heard from in years messaged me. Some apologized. Some shared their own stories of being manipulated by someone like her. Others were just stunned. Then I got a message from her. Not a call. Not a letter. Just a text. "You ruined me." That was all. I stared at those words. Not "I'm sorry." Not "I didn't mean to." Just a blame shift. As usual. I wrote back, "You ruined yourself." I just stopped covering for it. I blocked her. Daniel held me that night as I lay in bed, shaking. Not crying. Just shaking. My whole life had been one long, quiet war. And I had finally stopped being the only one bleeding. Weeks passed. Then months. She moved to a different town. Some say she joined another church. Others say she keeps to herself now. I don't really care. Daniel and I bought a house. We have a dog now. We host holidays with his family, with friends, with laughter that doesn't feel heavy. Sometimes I catch myself waiting for the guilt to crawl back in. But it doesn't. I still think about what she said in that last letter. I never learned how to love without control. It's sad, but it's not my problem anymore. And that, finally, is what freedom feels like.